And then the Chelsea owners are currently trying to solve a headache around their stadium issue. Todd Bowley admitted they could have to wait until 2042 for a new stadium. Is there any concern that they could potentially be left behind some of their Premier League rivals in terms of revenue and things like that, with several clubs looking to increase their capacity?
I haven't looked closely at what that 2042 is. I mean, it seems a bit of an odd number. 17 years, what's 17 years? Seems a weirdly precise kick into the grass. But if you're talking about a stadium being built in the best part of 20 years' time, you might as well not talk about the stadium being built. I mean, it's just completely, who knows where anything is going to be in 20 years' time. So I don't really, I think, I haven't seen all of the context of it, but if he's saying that there are so many issues that they can't be sure when it's going to be built, well, then I would just work on the basis that it probably isn't going to be built. And it may even be for the next owner to deal with.
I did see Hans-Jörg Weiss the other day, one of the other owners, I think he's within the Bowley part of the ownership group. He said that the best option was Earl's Court, but they've not got anyone driving that project at the moment. Does it just seem a bit like they're not really together on the plans at the moment? There's not really anyone taking charge of these kind of things.
No, I'm sure they've got. I'm sure they're quite joined up on it. I just think it's a very difficult and very expensive project. Because you're going from Chelsea, the most expensive postcode in the UK by a mile. You're looking for a very significant space to build a new stadium. You've got to make the new stadium worthwhile, and that means making it a better scale and revenue generator than what they already have. Right? So it can't just be, a cheap stadium or a small stand extended. It's got to be quite an extensive and interesting project. You need to find the space to do it. Right? Well, how are you going to do that in those postcodes? And then you've got a 4 to 5 year build time, perhaps. Where are you going to play for 5 years? So it's. I think the reason that there's this hesitation is just because it's a very difficult project for them to execute on, and very, very expensive. You're talking about billions of pounds with an uncertain return.
And then elsewhere, there's a story about Moises Caicedo. There was interest the other week, reportedly from Saudi, but they now look set to offer him a new contract this summer. His contract actually runs until 2031 after he signed that long-term deal. What would the thinking be for Chelsea in handing him a new deal?
Well, I guess if you believe what they've said about how they structured the contracts, the better you play and the more success there is on the pitch, the more they're going to renegotiate the contracts back up to the levels that apparently are comparable with the rest of the league. Now, I'm pretty sceptical that they're paying anybody lower than market, particularly a player like Caicedo, where he was bought in competition with other teams. So I don't really get that, and it's not borne out by the overall wage numbers. But I suspect they're just rewarding a player who they see as being a central part of the team for the next 5 years, and making sure that he's properly remunerated and isn't swayed to go elsewhere. You would think, given everything they've said about their incentivisation, that next season in any event, if they get Champions League, and I think they probably will now, you would think that him and a number of those players are all going to have 20% uplifts or 25% uplifts anyway. If everything we've been told about their salary structure is to be believed.